Hello, my name is Chris Smith, and I'm the Regional Director for the Clean and Safe Energy Coalition here in Portland, Oregon. We at Clean and Safe Energy are so glad you have expressed a continued interest in our organization, and we have prepared for you this presentation to help complement the report we sent you earlier this year. We are glad that you have begun to think about the possibility of nuclear energy. And now we want you to rethink nuclear. At present, nuclear energy provides roughly 20% of America's energy supply. However, in Oregon, it hasn't a single presence. We at Clean and Safe Energy believe that nuclear energy is a vital part of America's future energy portfolio. Clean and Safe Energy was founded in 2006 by Christine Todd Whitman, the former governor of New Jersey, and an EPA administrator, and Dr. Patrick Moore, former president of Greenpeace. Our founders realized that nuclear energy is the best strategy for a cleaner, healthier environment. Our mission is to advance the national dialogue about our viable energy options. Since our founding, we've become an important voice and valuable resource in the national dialogue about the country's energy future. We work with our members to educate the public about nuclear energy's many benefits. Our organization has more than 2,800 members from across the political, business, environmental, and academic communities in voicing our support for clean and safe energy. We recognize that nuclear energy can enhance the economic well-being and ensure cleaner air quality for all Oregonians. Today, we would like to address some of the myths and misconceptions plaguing nuclear energy. Nuclear energy enjoys the highest level of safety, and there has not been a single American life lost in the 50-year history of nuclear energy. It is time to rethink nuclear. We will discuss how nuclear power can promote economic growth. The siting of new nuclear facilities will create thousands of American construction jobs. Their continued operations will provide jobs for an entire community. It is time to rethink nuclear. And we will demonstrate how nuclear energy can exist harmoniously with the environment. Nuclear energy produces no greenhouse gases, and it is the cleanest track record of any other energy source available to us at present. It is time to rethink nuclear. And by the end of our presentation, we will want you to rethink nuclear. Thank you for listening. And now here's Davis.
My name is Davis, and I'm here to help dispel some of the myths and misconceptions associated with nuclear energy. I'm going to talk to you about just general operations myths, some myths about safety, and also some myths about the cost of nuclear energy. Starting off with operations, I have to dispel the myth that nuclear plants can explode. It seems like an obvious one, but they're not bombs. They don't have critical fusion chain reactions. They're not built to explode. It's simply not a possibility of the operation. Second, I want to talk about a little bit of some American incidents. 3 Mile Island is commonly recognized as the largest nuclear incident in American history. It's important to note that though it was considered a catastrophe, no one died. No one got sick as a result of plant issues. And to date, there have been no measurable environmental side effects. Lastly, with operations, I want to talk about Chernobyl, which is commonly recognized as the largest nuclear incident in the world. Chernobyl is no longer a possibility. The safety procedures and all plans have changed to the extent that the meltdown that occurred in Russia is no longer one that can happen anywhere in the world. And certainly it was a tragedy then, but it's not one that can reoccur. My second main point I want to talk to you branches off that. It's safety, just the general safety of plant operations. First and foremost, radiation is a common concern. But to receive, the amount of radiation that you would receive living next to a plant for 2,000 years is the same amount of radiation that you receive getting an X-ray at the dentist's office or at the doctor's office. it's minuscule, to say the least. Second, in regards to waste, we all, of course, recognize and realize that nuclear waste can be toxic. And, of course, when it's being transported around, there's a concern of risk to the public. To date, there have been over 6,000 shipments of nuclear waste around the country, either by train or by semi. And though there have been a handful of vehicular accidents where vehicles were involved in an accident, there has been no leakage of waste. There has been no radiation exposure or contamination. Finally, I want to talk to you about cost. It's easy to imagine that a nuclear plant is going to be incredibly expensive. However, even with the cost, it's currently recognized as one of the best long-term 60-year investments. And especially when you compare it to other renewable resources like wind energy or hydroelectric, it's significantly less expensive per kilowatt. So I hope that we've been able to help dispel some myths about nuclear energy, and I just want you to rethink nuclear.
Thank you, Davis. And I am Keisuke, and I'm going to talk about economic benefits of nuclear power plant. My section involves two small sectors, which are short-term benefits and long-term benefits. For short-term benefits, we expect to have the higher tax revenue. As we have explained on the report, based on the job creation of 1,000 people for power plant and wages distributed to construction workers who build a power plant. In addition, for those construction workers and 1,000 people who are going to work there, there are going to be restaurants or daily supply shops. They are going to be just another economy right there. Due to the expanded economy, we expect to have the faster money circulation in this program, which is going to result in the higher tax revenue in the short term. In addition to the short-term revenue, we expect to have the even higher tax revenue for the long-term benefit. As an use of the increased tax revenue from the short term, we suggest to build more street lights and encourage the restaurants or bars to serve up late night time as well. In other words, we suggest you to encourage the night activity throughout the state. It improves the community safety based on more lights through the night, and then it enhances the nighttime activity in the city, which can speed up the state economy money circulation even faster. This can result in the higher tax revenue as well. I have talked about the short-term benefits and long-term benefits of having a nuclear power plant in this state. They are both about the higher tax revenue. The one is from the job creation and also the construction workers. The another one is from our suggestion, that is the building of more streetlights, enhancing the night activity through the city. Thank you, and it's time for you to rethink nuclear.
Thank you, Keisuke. My name is Tetsuya, and I'm going to talk about environmental benefits of nuclear energy. The United States generates most of its electricity by burning fossil fuels, and in that process it produces sulfur, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide affects the environment and accelerates global warming. Global warming is one of the most serious issues that we have been facing. Global warming affects climate, temperature, and us. For instance, rising temperature can cause natural disasters, and also rising sea temperature will have a big impact on the ecology of the ocean. But the problem is there are no flawless energy resources, and demand continues to increase. Emission-free sources provide only 30% of the United States electricity, and 70% of that comes from the nuclear energy. People might think nuclear energy is dirty, yet in fact, nuclear energy is one of the cleanest energy in the world. Nuclear energy produces no combustion because it doesn't burn anything. Now we all know we can't harm the environment anymore. And also we all know it is the time we have to get together and work on protecting our planet. We believe nuclear energy helps protect air quality and the environment. Coupled with renewable energy resources, nuclear energy is critical to meeting the environmental and energy goals. Today I'll talk about environmental benefits of nuclear energy, and I think this is really important thing that we have to think about a little bit. And we think it is a time to rethink nuclear. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex. I would first like to thank Chris for starting us off today. You heard Davis dispel some of the rumors and myths, fears surrounding the idea of nuclear energy in Oregon. The costs, safety, and even the fear of radiation were all myths. Even the most disastrous nuclear power plant related incident in the United States, being 3 Mile Island, resulted in no deaths, no injuries, and had no radiation leaks to the environment. Thank you, Davis, for helping us to rethink nuclear. Next, we heard from Keisuke about the potential economic benefits not only from the nuclear power plants themselves, but also from the growth in the surrounding communities around those plants. We can expect these economic benefits to come in the form of both tax revenues and job creation. Thank you, Keisuke, for helping us to rethink nuclear. Finally, we heard from Tetsuya about the clean energy production, zero emissions, and low environmental impacts of nuclear energy. Thank you, Tetsuya, for helping us to rethink nuclear. So what does it mean to rethink nuclear? To me, it means looking past the emotional apprehension and fear, and looking towards the factual and realistic examination of the problem. When we rethink nuclear, we can objectively examine the pros and cons of nuclear power in Oregon. As we've demonstrated, the pros vastly outnumber the cons, so much so that I just cannot believe that we have not already transferred to nuclear power here in Oregon. Ladies and gentlemen, as members of the Oregon Department of Energy, you have been trusted with Oregon's energy future. You have been tasked with leading us to that future, which I believe is nuclear energy and a nuclear Oregon. With that in mind, I would like to read you a quote from one Rosalind Carter, wife of former President Jimmy Carter. A leader brings people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but where they ought to be. There are tough decisions ahead for us all, ladies and gentlemen. But if we are able to look past the rumors and misinformation and look instead towards a future of clean, sustainable, responsible energy, then we as people will be able to construct an Oregon that Oregonians of the future will be proud to call home. With that in mind, I would like to thank you for both your time and consideration. And with that, I would like to remind you that it is time to rethink nuclear.